Sup everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the banners. Yes, Kazuha banner, Klee banner, as well as weapon banner. But first, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Jumping back to the Kazuha banner. I don't think I need to be sitting here, or anyone needs to be sitting here telling people, oh, you should pull for Kazuha, you should not pull for Kazuha. For most people who are here, you already made that decision far prior to this video. So why are we even talking about this? And I'm not even here to try to sell you on the banner value either, but it's more so the discussion of Kazuha right now versus potential Dendro characters. Who's going to be more likely in benefiting your Genshin Journey account in doing the best that it can in the near and foreseeable future, because God knows what's Hoyoverse planning in the pot for 6, 7, 8 patches down the road. So let's just go into detail talking about that a little bit here, okay? So if this is the first time you're on my channel, I talk about everything Genshin every single day. If it's not a video, it's going to be a live stream, and I welcome everybody to tune in whenever they can right here on YouTube. Wednesdays, Saturdays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 9 p.m. So here's the question that I've been getting more and more these past few days. Like, Walrus, you know, I've always wanted Kazuha since I missed him on his first banner, or I started playing after his banner went away. However, with Dendro coming up, and a lot of people are saying that Dendro likely will be somewhat influential, and at least for the foreseeable future, that meta will be revolving around Dendro and its reactions. However, until now, I still have yet to see an Anemo Dendro reaction. So does that mean Kazuha is not going to react with Dendro? So that is a good concern to have, but I can safely assure you that regardless of whether Dendro reacts with Anemo, Kazuha will still have his role in the game. That is something that just will be unchanging until Hoyoverse creates another unit that somehow can replace Kazuha in what he does, which is reducing elemental resistance while still doing some good damage. And of course, for people who want to be even more specific, a little bit of grouping for the mobs as well. I think these are his main shining points, and how all of this stuff is gathered in one character makes him very, very good. Now going forward, I don't see Hoyoverse in any scenario wanting to create a character that does all of the things I've just said better than Kazuha. Now, do remember, people, because Kazuha's OP-ness, a lot of it does come from the Viridescent set. There's no getting around that. There could be a character in the future, such as Zhongli, who has elemental resistance shred built into their kit. So let's say in the future, a character that comes out with a burst skill or something that is more influential than Kazuha, it doesn't necessarily mean that Kazuha is also going to lose value, because the Viridescent set is so easy to apply through the swirl reaction that it just makes it much less restrictive to use, if that makes sense. So let's say if for the case of Zhongli, it's in his Jade Shield, which, yeah, sure, it's pretty cool, but it's also dependent on how often you can get that shield off. If the shield is gone or you don't have it. So if you don't have a C2 Zhongli and your shield breaks, well, tough luck. You gotta wait for your shield to come back to even have that effect. Whereas Kazuha, his elemental skill is very quick, and it's actually more proactive to you and how you want to apply swirl to get that effect. And I think inherently that's where the value is at. And for people now thinking, oh, well, that's all good and stuff, but what if he doesn't react with Dendro? I pull Kazuha, and then the Dendro meta comes along, and he'll never be able to benefit those teams. And I also think that won't necessarily be the case 100% of the time, because think about it like this. For Kazuha to function, you need to be precise with what element you want to swirl. And if you have Dendro in the mix, and Dendro being on field as an application and function element could oftentimes disrupt your swirl if they have some sort of reaction. So in the case that it doesn't, Dendro could just be on the field doing whatever it wants, and you can have another element on field, and swirl will always prioritize that element instead of Dendro, or some sort of byproduct of the two. The thing I do want to help ease your mind is that Kazuha likely will not be making a rerun sooner than some of the Dendro characters you're about to see. So technically speaking, it's best to pick up Kazuha and then skip the first couple Dendro or even 2 patches of Dendro characters, and then get the Dendro characters from starting from 3.2 or something like that. I mean, you could get lucky and get it in 3.1 if an Archon comes out in 3.1. Congratulations. If Archon comes out 3.2, you're not going to really be missing out on much. Okay, so that's really the current state for Kazuha. I do think that the value is still there and will be there for the foreseeable future. Granted, with the arrival of Dendro, do expect his usage to drop a little bit because there's just more teams available and people are going to be trying more teams. And if he doesn't react with Dendro, he's going to be brought less and less in those teams, but maybe he'll be brought more in the other half of the Abyss. Who knows? We don't know. There's just too much competition nowadays, and expect Kazuha to drop a little bit, but his specialty will still be in elemental damage teams, which for the most part have always had a place in every single meta iteration for Genshin so far up to this date. Okay, so now with all that said, let's talk about the weapon banner, because this one is something that we probably should spend a bit of time on. So when it comes to this weapon banner, the 4-star weapons aren't too bad. Right? We got Favonius, and we got the Wit Sith along with Ali Flash and the Waltz Bow. You notice I didn't mention the other one because that one is a bait, a trap, an absolute atrocity of an item to end up getting. But the two of the 5-star weapons are pretty good as well. The Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds along with the Freedom Sworn Sword. For me personally, actually, I don't have either of these weapons because I'd never prioritized them. Yes, that does mean that neither of these weapons are really high priority ones, because for the most part, characters that do run these weapons could function really well without them. For example, the case of Kazuha, he has amazing 4-star weapons, as well as Klee and other Catalyst user when it comes to 4-star Catalyst. So what I'm essentially saying is this is a very easy skip for many people if you want to continue saving Primo Gems, but for the small spender or the dolphins who are like, oh yeah, no, what I want to drop some on this banner are these two weapons even worth? Yes, they're worth. They're pretty damn good if you are a dolphin, but who am I kidding? In this day and age, when Dendro's right around the corner, most people probably would want to save up more Primo Gems to get the Dendro characters, and I think that would be the far smarter decision. Like I said, these two weapons for me personally have been skipped for a reason, and that reason is because I've never found the need or desire to have them to complete or to access certain levels of power for my characters. I've always felt like I was doing fine with the 4-star options, and I still am doing fine with the 4-star options. So that's going to be that. If you guys want to pull on this weapon banner, be my guest. 4-star weapons here are okay-ish. We've seen worse, but we've seen better. The 5-star weapons here are good options for some characters. However, they're definitely not necessary nor universally utilized for many different characters. So if you do end up pulling, you do know that this is not the best that we have seen. Okay, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited for the upcoming patch because we're just getting closer and closer to Sumeru and Dendro, and with the tease and the info dump that Hoyoverse has been doing for us, I'm losing sleep over it sometimes. But I actually want to hear more from you guys. How are you allocating your Primo Gems? With the recent information, are you going to be skipping all of this stuff just to get Sumeru characters? Because I think a lot of people actually are. So until next time, urge you all to stay safe. Peace. Bye.